Right now, if you tried to sit still and do absolutely nothing for 10 minutes, you'd probably fail. Not because you're lazy, not because you lack discipline, because something in your brain is actively working against you. Here's the strange part. That resistance isn't a flaw, it's a feature, and it's older than you think. Think about the last time you truly rested. Not scrolling, not half watching something while checking your phone, actual stillness. Chances are, within minutes, a quiet discomfort crept in, a restlessness, an itch to be doing something, anything, even if that something was pointless. Psychologists have a name for this. Timothy Wilson, a social psychologist at the University of Virginia, ran a series of experiments in 2014 that became instantly famous and slightly infamous. He asked participants to sit alone in a bare room with nothing to do but think. No phone, no book, just their own mind. Most people rated the experience as unpleasant. Then Wilson added a twist. He gave participants the option to administer a mild electric shock to themselves if they wanted to. Something unpleasant, but not dangerous. And here's the detail that stunned researchers. A significant number of people chose to shock themselves rather than sit with their own thoughts. Let that sit for a second. People chose pain over stillness. Why would a brain do that? To understand it, you have to go back. Long before quiet rooms and idle afternoons, your ancestors lived in an environment that punished inactivity. Not metaphorically, literally. A human sitting motionless in the open, unaware of their surroundings, was a human who might not notice the predator approaching, the storm rolling in, or the rival tribe crossing into their territory. Stillness, for most of human history, was not peace. It was vulnerability. So the brain adapted. It built a system that treats prolonged inactivity as a kind of warning sign, flooding the mind with restlessness, discomfort, and the urge to move, check, scan, do something. Anthropologists studying hunter-gatherer societies have long noted that even in cultures with far more unstructured time than modern life, true idleness was rare. There was almost always some task: foraging, tool-making, watching the horizon. The brain, it turns out, was built for near-constant, low-level engagement, not for empty space. This explains something curious about modern rest. You'd think, after a long week, that doing nothing would feel good. And sometimes it does, but often it doesn't. Often it feels like something is wrong, like you're falling behind, wasting time, letting the day slip away. That feeling has a name. Psychologist Sandi Mann at the University of Central Lancashire has spent years studying boredom, and her research suggests something counterintuitive. Boredom isn't the absence of stimulation. It's a specific, uncomfortable state your brain generates on purpose to push you back toward activity. It's not a bug in your mental software. It's a nudge, built by evolution, to keep you from sitting still too long in a world where sitting still could get you killed. Here's where it gets stranger. Your brain doesn't just punish inactivity. It actively rewards busyness, even meaningless busyness. Studies on what researchers call the idleness aversion effect have found that people will often choose to do a pointless task over doing nothing at all, even when the task provides no benefit whatsoever. Christopher Hsee, a behavioral scientist at the University of Chicago, ran an experiment where participants were given a choice: walk to deliver a piece of candy to a location, or sit and wait to be handed the same candy without walking. Most people chose to walk, not because walking was enjoyable, because doing something, anything, felt better than doing nothing. This is why a to-do list can feel comforting even when it's exhausting. Why some people would rather be overworked than have a truly empty calendar. Why silence in a car ride makes people reach for the radio within seconds. The brain isn't seeking pleasure in these moments. It's avoiding the specific discomfort of unstructured stillness, which raises an uncomfortable question about rest itself. If your brain treats idleness as a warning sign, is real rest even possible? Or are you constantly negotiating with a system that was built to keep you moving? The answer, according to more recent research, is more hopeful than it sounds. Not all stillness triggers this alarm. Activities that involve gentle, absorbing engagement, walking without a destination, simple, repetitive tasks, even structured daydreaming, seem to satisfy the brain's need for low-level activity while still allowing something close to genuine rest. This is part of why a slow walk can feel more restorative than lying motionless on a couch. Your ancient tracking system gets just enough motion, just enough sensory input to stop sounding the alarm. There's a modern twist here too, and it's worth sitting with. Every notification, every autoplay video, every infinite scroll feed was built, whether by design or by accident, to exploit this exact discomfort. The moment stillness starts to creep in, your phone is right there, offering an escape hatch, a small hit of activity disguised as relaxation. It feels like rest. It rarely is. Because true stillness was never comfortable to your brain in the first place, and scrolling gives it just enough movement to quiet the alarm without ever actually resting the underlying system. Is it any wonder that so many people finish a weekend of relaxing on their phones feeling more depleted than before? The old warning system doesn't distinguish between a predator in the grass and a blinking notification. It only knows one thing: motion of any kind feels safer than stillness. Which brings us back to that quiet room and the choice to sit in it or not. The discomfort you feel in stillness isn't weakness. It's not a personal failure to relax properly. It's a few 100,000 years of survival programming, still running, still convinced that sitting still might get you killed. Understanding that doesn't make the restlessness disappear, but it does change what it means. The next time silence feels unbearable and your hand reaches for your phone before you've even noticed, you'll know what's actually happening. Not laziness, not a broken attention span, just an old, careful system, still trying to keep you alive in a world that stopped needing it to. So the next time you try to sit still and fail within minutes, you'll know why. Your brain was never built to rest. It was built to never stop watching.